Doughnut is a sweet snack made from leavened fried dough. In this video, I'll be showing you how you can make this sweet snack. If you are interested in getting a white line in your donuts, I'll be giving you all the details, all the tips and tricks at the end of this video. So make sure you watch to the end so you don't miss out. Let's get started. We'll be proofing the yeast. If you are using active yeast, you will have to activate the yeast before use. If yours is instant yeast, you can go ahead and use it. So I added a teaspoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of yeast, and warm water. I will stir and keep this aside for about 10 minutes to proof. Next is the flour. This is 500 gram. Always measure your ingredients. I'll be sieving the flour. You should sieve your flour to get rid of lumps, get rid of particles and dirt, and above all, to incorporate air. You have to do this whether you are using your flour to cook or to bake. Don't omit this step. Next is the sugar. This is half cup of sugar. This is nutmeg. If you would prefer any other flavor like cinnamon, you can go for it. I used nutmeg. Here is salt. Salt is just a pinch of salt, about 1/4 of a teaspoon. You have to stir this properly. What did you notice here? I simply added all the dry ingredients. Mix properly and set aside. Next are the eggs. I used 2 eggs. I will simply break these eggs and beat them slightly just to mix properly. And then I will be setting this egg aside. Next is to get the dry ingredients. Make sure you stir properly. Make a well at the middle of these dry ingredients and add every other ingredient. This time, the wet ingredients. The egg, the butter or margarine, the yeast that was activated, and of course, a cup of warm milk. You can also use warm water if you don't want to use milk in your recipe. Simply stir this properly. I love to do this with a spoon before I use my fingers just to combine the ingredients initially. These are the wet ingredients and the dry ingredients. I love to use a spoon to do this before working on this with my bare hands. You will have to knead this properly, especially if you want the white lines to appear on your donut. After kneading for about 25 minutes, I let this rest for 1 hour. Make sure you apply oil on the dough so that it won't get dry. After 1 hour, here is the result. It must have increased in size. This is the oil I applied on the dough so that it won't get dry and it won't stick to this my bowl. So I will simply apply flour on my surface and knead this once again, this time for about 5 to 10 minutes. At this stage, you will notice that the dough is now easy to work with. If yours didn't rise, it means that you didn't proof your yeast properly. Your yeast is not active. After kneading for about 10 minutes, it is time to cut this dough into smaller parts. I simply divided the dough just to make sure that every of this dough is of equal parts, especially if you would be selling this, you will need to measure it. So this is 500 grams of flour. I got 14 pieces of dough. Each of these dough weighed 80 grams. If you would be selling it, it is very important you do this. This will make all the donut to be of equal size. It is 80 grams. Always measure it if you would be selling. So after measuring this, it is time to give this donut the shape you want. If you want pillow donuts, you can make it just like so. You have to make this into a ball. Just this way I am doing it. Make sure you form the dough into a ball. If you want to make round donut, then you need a donut cutter. If you can't get a donut cutter, of course, you can improvise. You can use any round object around you, just like what I'm doing now. Use a round object to make a ring. You will use a smaller object just like this. This is toothpick container. Here is those small container in drugs for kids. I will simply put it in the middle, just like so, and take out this little one in the middle. This now is a ring donut. If you want to make ring donuts, you can use this. If you want to make pillow donuts, you can do it just like this. After cutting this donut, I will still proof this donut. I will leave it to rest for 30 good minutes before frying. Make sure you do this. Don't just cut your donut and start frying. Allow this to rest. After 30 minutes, it is time to fry. Add oil in your fry pan and start frying. This is how I check to know if the oil is ready. I'll put just a little butter in the oil and you can see that this oil is ready. If you don't really care about white lines in your donut, you can deep fry. If you care about white lines in your donut, you don't need plenty of oil, guys. You just need a little oil, and this should be on low heat so that the donut won't get done quickly. When this is done, the outside will be done while the inside will be undone. Meanwhile, if your oil is not hot enough, it will make the donut to soak up oil. Make sure you are frying on a medium to low heat. This way, you will get a perfect result. Once the dough is golden brown, just the way you love it, take it off the oil. If you want it to be darker brown, allow it to get darker. If you want it to just be light brown, go for it, guys. If you really want this white line, you will have to knead your dough properly. Make sure you knead for about 20 to 25 minutes. Then proof very well. Make sure your yeast is active. While frying, you don't need so much oil. You will just fry with a little oil, just like what I did. Fry with a little oil. Once this oil didn't touch any part of this donut, those parts will be white. Donuts are white when fried. They only turn golden when they don't use so much oil. The part immersed in the oil become more golden than those with no contact with the oil. This is caused by the fact that the donut floats in the oil. The portion of the dough that didn't have direct contact with the oil, even when you flip to the other side, the line never touches the oil. This is the line that is white. So, make sure that the donut had plenty of time to rise. When you want to flip, gently flip when the first side is done. Remember, we are flipping just once. Don't flip to one side and later you will flip to the other side. No, once one side is brown, just the way you love it, then flip to the other side. Don't flip twice. Make sure the batter sits above the oil line. Another point to note is to make sure that your batter is light and less dense. Make sure it is properly proofed dough. This way, you will get a white line on your donuts. Thanks for watching, guys. Have you been making donuts? Would you use my recipe? When you do, let me know the outcome. I'll be waiting for you in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. You can enjoy this with any soft drink of your choice. I will see you in my next one. Cheers to your success. Keep being amazing, guys. Bye-bye.